long have I been in the business? I've been in the business full time since 2006. I did it part time for about 9 months in 2005, and then left my previous career in construction management and dedicated full time to real estate, residential real estate, in 2006.
And when did you bring these guys on?
Well, when did I bring these guys on? I brought Luke on back in...
Right before COVID, right?
It was in COVID.
It was in
the middle of COVID.
Yeah.
We met down here on Bluebird, there.
We've known each other.
Know
Yeah.
each other.
We always cross paths, always seen each other, so we kind of
But yeah, saw him in COVID and said, what are you doing? And I knew at that time, I had been attempting to bring people on, and we had a great assistant prior to Luke coming on, and she went off on her own. And then we brought Luke on, and that was, I think we started in November of 2020 about.
It's about 3 years.
And then you tried to get your license, but the whole DRE was backed up.
Yeah, that's right.
You couldn't get your license for about 6 months. You ended up getting it, I think, in March or April.
I think I got it in February.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so now you've been with us 2.5,
close to 3
close
years.
to 3 years coming up on.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew we needed that. Probably 5 years into it, I needed an assistant, and I had dabbled with the idea. And it's not so much an assistant, but more of a, somebody to work with, so that share responsibilities and things. And the biggest challenge today is me letting go of that stuff so that I can give Luke and or Jimmie those responsibilities.
And what about you and Jimmie? How did that relationship start?
Why not
We were neighbors.
We were neighbors for a while. We used to walk dogs together.
10, 15 years.
Yep, 10, 15 years ago. So Jimmie and I were neighbors up off of Summit and Van Dyke, where I live, up in the Summit Ridge, Woods Cove area. And Jimmie and I were neighbors, and we got to know each other through. Jimmie was working for auction.com at the time, and we had a multifamily property that we were marketing in the middle of Laguna. And it was a 4-unit property, and we had entertained the idea of doing an auction several times before. We'd never done it. Decided to do that, and Jimmie was the one who introduced us to that platform, kind of walked us through it. At that point, I think Dylan had come into the picture as well and gave some support too.
Yeah, his role as a...
But at that time, that's when I knew Jimmie was a true professional, and that if he really wanted to explore anything else, I knew he would be successful at whatever he does, because when he makes his mind up and he sets his heart to doing something, he does it 100%. And Jimmie has been with us now, what?
A year.
A year?
Late last year, September, October.
Yep.
We got the
coming
ball
up
rolling.
on a year.
Yeah.
And it's been fantastic.
Jimmie, what do you enjoy most about working with the whole team and everything?
Well, we're friends, so I really enjoy working with guys that I know outside of just like an office environment. We spend time together, we work well together, we inspire each other, and we push each other. So, I mean, my colleagues are my friends. That's quite a blessing.
Same thing for you, Luke. What would you say?
Yeah, that, and it's nice to have someone like Marcus as a mentor, and then Jimmie also has been in the business, whether it was like commercial real estate or whatever, for a while too. So these guys I can learn from every day. So majority that, and like what Jimmie says, we all hang out outside of work. We're friends from the beginning. So.
And I'll ask for all of you guys, if you weren't doing real estate, what would you be doing?
I would be a sports talk show host, for sure.
Nice.
A guitar playing sports talk show host. I would love to play guitar and talk sports all day.
Luke, same question.
That's a good question. I've always admired like photographers being able to travel the world and take photos and basically just look like they're on vacation the whole freaking time. And also I like to surf too, so it'd probably be geared to go to like surf destinations as well. But I don't know how viable of a career that might be, but it sounds fun.
Jimmie, what would you be doing, dude?
Well, I've spent the last year focusing on ramping up with Marcus's team, but I'm an artist. I do oil paintings, mostly representational type art, so I'll make art the rest of my life always. And I have an English degree in English literature, so I enjoy reading and writing. So always working on art and writing projects, and having a career in real estate is the perfect basis that allows me to do that.
What is your end goal with everything, or what's that? Yeah, what is that end goal for you, Jimmie?
I guess I'd say that it's having a business and a lifestyle that's puts me in a position to be of service to people. So doing the service work for real estate, but also, building a lifestyle that allows me to make art and write, and doing that in a coastal community it's wonderful.
First off, I probably wouldn't be doing it if I didn't enjoy it. So to be able to enjoy something and to be able to work somewhere that I love to begin with is like that already does it for me. But also the financial stability that that you get with real estate as well. But like Jimmie says, to be able to like help others and find something for them too is great. So
Make it to the end with a smile on my face. Rest in peace. And no, honestly, the end goal for me is just to have an operation where I feel like I'm giving back to the community, which is a big one, giving back to people who appreciate what we're doing. And I've really been valuing this idea of helping other people and teaching these guys. And I'm learning how to do that. This is a foreign position for me to be in, to try to teach other people what to do and how to do this business. I've been fortunate enough to have grown up in this town. My family is very well connected here. We've been here for 50 years. So I've had a head start on most people. And, and I don't take that lightly. I value it, and I don't want to take advantage of that or ruin it, take it for granted per se. But that's a part of this that I didn't anticipate really enjoying is this talking about the business, teaching other people about it. Like, I love it. And I think we've got some good history and experience that, I like to share that and give back. And then to service people who are buying, making decisions, selling, biggest decisions they'll ever make, to be trusted with that process, such an honor. And like Luke was saying, to be able to do it right here, are you freaking kidding me? We get to do this. This is a job, and I feel really lucky. My goal personally would be to put these guys on a path that they are prepared to be able to do this business on their own, whether they choose to stay with us, which I would love, or they choose to, if it's in their best interest, to go pursue a path on their own, that they know that they're prepared to be able to do that. And quite honestly, that's the part for me that I'm learning to get better at, because I don't know how to do that quite, the right way. And I'm learning how to be a better director, hopefully how to be a better leader and guide these guys so that they are better prepared. Why Laguna Beach? What do you love about Laguna?
Yeah. So for me, I grew up in Tustin in the 70s and 80s, and we ended up either in Newport or Laguna. And I was always drawn to the ocean. And my son went to Aliso Niguel High School. I was over in Laguna Niguel, and we'd always end up in Laguna, whether it was for the ocean or for dinner, date night, that kind of thing. So when I moved to Laguna, it was the place I wanted to be. It has everything I want.
How about you?
well,
How'd you get here?
yeah.
Seriously, where the hell are you from?
yeah, being from Florida originally, graduated college, came out here. I was working for a surf company for a little bit there. Ended up meeting some family, like friends here in Laguna. Ended up working for one of the friends in Emerald Bay. I was actually living in Newport at first, but I always spent my time here. Slowly started to integrate more and more into Laguna. And I just felt like more of a sense of community here rather than elsewhere. I don't know. I just felt tied. There's a more tight knit community here.
Yeah.
And obviously, like the topography you get here being from Florida where it's just super flat all the time, like coming here and seeing like cliffs and coves and like you get all the mountain biking too. It's like, it basically has it all. Like I can go surf in the morning and then go ride my mountain bike in the afternoon and get 8+ hours of work done in the middle there, So to have that access is amazing. And not to mention just Southern California in general, to be close to mountains, to be close to all this like stuff that I'd have to fly to from Florida is huge, So there's so many advantages of living out here to begin with, and to be able to work in Laguna too. It's just icing on the cake, right? Like I wouldn't change it for anything. Yeah.
Pretty great. My same question to myself, essentially. We got here when I was 11 months old. I didn't have a choice in the matter. This is where we ended up, right? Thank God my parents ended up here, and you grow up here, you don't really realize what a special place you have until you leave, and then your friends from other areas come and tell you what a great place you live. And for me, that was an eye-opener. During college was when I really started to appreciate the beauty and the special characteristics that made Laguna so special. Luke touched on it a little bit. I think so much of it has to do with the topography and the coastline and the coves, the way that the coves are laid out here in Laguna. And it gives you this association with, holiday, vacation.
People save money all year to come vacation here.
Yeah.
I
You
mean,
forget that
seriously.
too, right? Like,
I do remember like my first week driving down Nye's Place, looking at an amazing view, going, "This is going to be my career.
yeah,
I can see loving this, you know." And that
Yeah.
was 17 years ago.
it gets you every time
And
too.
I
Like,
swear to God, I love waking up. I still love
yeah,
what we do. I love serving people. I love learning, and yeah, you couldn't pick a better environment to be able to do this in. If you threw every single factor that people consider into the pot around what you would entertain when you buy a house, meaning healthcare, entertainment, travel, access to all sorts of stuff, beach, health.
people.
We said health already.
Yeah.
Restaurants,
Exercise,
theater,
restaurant,
arts.
arts. I honestly don't think there's a better place in the world than coastal Southern California. So, anyway.
What's everyone's best memory of Laguna Beach?
Best memory. It's kind of a tough one. What's your best?
Can you remember?
Yeah, right.
Maybe there's not.
Honestly, so I'll just tell you, and it's pretty easy for me. I have so many memories of this town because it's all I've done for 50 years. But the one that sticks out is the night when I met my wife, you know, and the night we connected, and it was at Tortilla Flats, super romantic, Taco Tuesday. Ended up at the Sandpiper, another even more romantic place here in town. But to me, that's the one that I always remember of, you know, connecting with her that night and what that led to. By far is my most significant memory here in Laguna.
I guess for me, it's like not necessarily just a memory, but it was like a pivotal change of like how I perceived myself being here. Is like first couple years, you're like, I don't know if I can make this work. Like it's expensive,
Yeah.
but I want to make it work. And there was like this moment of change where like I got my like first apartment, I got a job, I was doing pretty good, and like I felt like involved in the community. At least like people knew me around town and stuff. And I'm like, I feel like this is home, you know, like I like legit like had this like kind of pinching, you know, sensation like, dude, this is it. And ever since then, I've still felt that way, and I've continued to grow in the community as well. And it's been great. Like I wouldn't change it for anything.
Well, I'll just comment on that too, because I think, you know, what Luke's saying here, and Laguna is a very tight-knit community. To break in and to be fully integrated into the community like Luke has done is pretty hard and rare. Luke is a local in Laguna, and people feel like he's from Laguna, which is rare. How long have you been here? 12 years or so?
Yeah,
13?
something like that.
And that's a long time. So he is a
Yeah.
local. But even from the beginning, he did a great job of really integrating himself into the community, which was awesome. The other thing I wanted to touch back on my most significant memory of Laguna, on top of what I was saying, the day that I asked Tammy to marry me was the day of the fires here in Laguna in 1993. And so for me, the memory, we were in Hawaii when Laguna Beach was on fire, and that contemplation of, is it the right day to be asking my wife to marry me when Laguna Beach is on fire? That memory still, that day, October 27th, 1993, was a huge day. And so that memory coupled with Tammy and all that stuff definitely is the most memorable part of my period in Laguna.
Yeah.
I remember the fires. I was at Long Beach State studying English, and my teacher, Dr. David Peck, Laguna resident, he was out that whole week. He was fire hosing his roof to save his place.
Yep.
That was a significant time. But for me, my greatest memory of Laguna also probably comes out of a tragic event. My son was skimboarding down at 10th Street, 1,000 steps. He broke his back, and we got him out of there. Decided not to helicopter lift him out, which I think we should have. And was grateful to get him to the ER and find out that he fractured his T12. So he spent 10 days in the ICU. It was a hairy time.
Yeah.
Fractions of millimeters, he wasn't paralyzed. But to be able to bring him home to the home in Laguna and let him rehab there, he lived with us for a year. And I just, we had beautiful views and a serene setting at that home on Summit. I love it. But just being able to have a home for him to recoup and be a family together during that time, it was crazy.
Yeah.
But we were able to come together, and he healed. He's doing fine. But that's probably the most significant and one of the best feelings of just having a home, let alone in a beautiful setting where he can recover from that.
No doubt.